know, pressure brings out the best in you. Welcome to the Duck Pond. We rolling. Welcome to the Duck Pond. It's your boy, Micah Harris, a.k.a. D1. I'm sitting in Soledad State Prison in the Central Coast of California. I'm out there, man, straight from inside the big house in the pen, upstate. I got the mic now. It's time to rewrite this narrative. The Duck Pond is a metaphor for life, and also because I'm a duck from the University of Oregon, and the pond is a small body of water. Big duck in a small pond, quack, quack. I'm in my small corner of the world. This channel is part podcast, part video, part inspirational. I'm going to talk about what it's like in prison, what it's like having a life sentence. From my perspective of life, what is truly going on inside these walls, you might be surprised that it's not what you see on TV. It's like in the movie, or what it's not like in the movies, TV shows. California prisons has issued us these state tablets, technology allowing us to be integrated back into society. This is the first year that this technology has been available to us to express ourselves through technology, video calls, texts, free phone calls. This video is for those of you who haven't been to prison and those of you who have. And those... yeah. For those of you who have.
I haven't. I ain't trying to go.
Right. Those of you have, you know, there's a brotherhood like doing time with dudes in prison, man. It's hard to connect. Feel like nobody understands you, the struggles. Don't worry, I got you. And for those of you who don't know anybody in prison, I want you to get to know someone, right, who is in here, who's with you. I want to let the people know out there that you can't keep a warrior down. I'm gonna tell you about how I became an Olympic hopeful with aspirations of going to the Olympics, my journey through sports, and how I'm sitting in prison with a life sentence. How and what all that is like, and how I'm still staying positive and still keeping my wits about me. This is my 17th year behind bars. Man, it's tragic. But what's crazy is there's light at the end of this tunnel. This is about prison. This is about track and field. This is about the ups and downs. This is about redemption. It's about experience, resilience. It's about fortitude and the human spirit. Why never giving up is the key to being the best version of yourself. This is that. So take this ride with me, and I promise you, I will always be my best. How you do anything is how you do everything. I'm up. Love, baby.
Okay. Well thought out introduction to the Duck Pond. Okay, so you mentioned you've been in 17 years. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Year 17. What's been the hardest thing on nailing down them 17 years? Or things?
So the biggest thing is being away from my family, man. It's hard being away from your family and loved ones, because in prison, there's a lot of people with a lot of problems, and you don't really get to know nobody, and it takes years to get to know somebody. Sometimes if you got a cellie that comes into your cell at one time, you don't know where they're from. You don't know if they have mental problems. You don't know what's going on. So navigating prison is like, or the last 17 years is trying to handle the mental health problem that we have with people, because you don't know what you're getting into. And then two, of course, being away from your family. And sadly, I lost my mother in 2019, and that really like sent shockwaves, because she was my number one fan, man, and we was tight. She was my best friend. So, but the first 5 years is the hardest, because you don't know the unknown. You don't know what to expect from prison. You don't know what it's going to be like when you get here, who you're going to trust, if you're going to have to get down, if you're going to have to like do the stereotypes. You know, they talk about, you know, when you get to the yard, you got to knock the biggest nigga out on the yard. You know, when you get there, not true. That's a myth. You know, a lot of times it's like some really like messed up situations where dudes never had been in trouble in their life, and they're having to face like some of the darkest, you know, situations that they ever experienced by coming to prison. So I think the first 5 years when you sit down, when you leave county jail, and when you get sentenced to all these years in prison, you really have a rude awakening, man. And so now, at this point, it's pretty much day-to-day grind. You know, you get up in the morning and put your boots on. I get up around 5 a.m. and I start meditating. I read a lot of books, and you know, I have my impact hour where from 5 to 6 I just meditate, read, listen to some music, get myself ready for the day. If you got a job, you're gonna get up around 8 o'clock. Well, we have chow around 6 o'clock, and then everyone comes back, settles in, brush their teeth, maybe hit the showers, maybe bust down, do a quick workout before they head off to work. You know, a lot of dudes have different jobs in here, so you know, somebody may go to carpentry, may go to plumbing, may go to education, may go to vocational, they may go to education, they may be a porter. And like me right now, I'm an ADA worker, so I basically work helping elderly people get around in wheelchairs. But that's now in year 17 where I'm finally settled in and doing my time. When you first get in here, yeah, it takes you about 2 years to really start doing time. Yeah.
So it's like levels to this. So like it's kind of like when you get in, you're a freshman, then you're a sophomore, then you're a junior, then you're a senior type stuff. So right now, have you officially reached OG status yet, or you still young and you got all your teeth, so you can't be an OG?
So I didn't do no drugs. So a lot of the cats that ain't got no teeth, them motherfuckers was on drugs.
Okay.
But so I'm cool. But yeah, I mean, I reached OG status, man. Because anytime you can do anything over 10 years and you're programming, you're pretty much an OG, man. Because you know the guards, you know how the program goes, you know the ins and outs, you know what COs are on staff, so you pretty much build rapport. But yeah, man, I think you're right, man. So when you first get in here, I would say, you know how when you're in high school, in college, whatever, you got, you know, your first year, you're a freshman, your second year, you're a sophomore, third year, you're a junior, your fourth year, you're a senior. What happens in here is like every 2 to 3 years is like your freshman year. So we like prison hours or prison time is like dog years, right? You know, every day is like, yeah. So prison years is like dog years, right? Because like for every 1 year that you do, it's like 3. You know what I mean? Because time stands still in here, right? So after I do 1, I did 3. So I've done graduated after my first year, basically, because in prison years, dog years, right?
Yeah.
So I'm definitely in my PhD right now. You know, while you bullshit, man, I'm definitely you know, I got my master's and now I'm working on my dissertation, and this is what this is right here, man. This is the evolution of doing all my time, OG status, understanding what this is. And I realized that there's an opportunity in here. And so being OG status for 17 years means that I've mastered, I put in at least 10,000 hours to master anything. That's what it takes. So by me being in here over 10,000 hours, you can say I know how to do time. So yeah, I am an OG.
Okay. So back it up a little bit. So you mentioned, you know, elite athlete.
Yes, sir.
So that had to be tough. So you was an elite athlete. You was living at the Olympic Training Center in San Diego when you went down, or what was the city that was in?
Chula Vista.
Chula Vista, that's right.
Yeah, Chula Vista.
Outside San Diego. Yeah. training for the Olympics. At the time, you top five. Top five, one of the top five hurdlers in the United States. Then you go. Now you inmate. You got a number. What's that process like? Transition from the world is, the sky's the limit until how's that process to go from the sky's the limit to the limit's the sky? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Right. So when I first started training, I didn't even. It's like it was like I was training wheels, right? I didn't know how to hurdle, and so when I first started hurdling, it was like the hurdles found me. And in high school, the hurdles are 39 inches, right?
Yeah.
In college, the hurdles are 42 inches. So that's 3 inches, difference. And that right there is kind of like the equivalent of being an elite athlete and being in prison. It's that 3-step. It's between 3 steps and 5 steps, or 39 inches and 42 inches. So it's a fine line, because it's like when I first didn't know how, it took me a while, because I was running in between the steps, in between the hurdles, like 5 steps in between, and then I was lifting off. So I didn't even know that I had to use 3 steps. So I had to evolve into an elite athlete, and that's taking time, right? It takes practice. So it took me from my freshman year in high school, my freshman year in high school to by my junior year, when I was able to master taking my race from 5 steps to 3 steps. So being an Olympic athlete, there was levels to it, just like in prison. There's levels to it, right? So I had to mature. I had to learn how to be an elite athlete first in order for me to be any good. And so when I finally made that transition, I graduated high school, then I went to junior college, and I started messing with them 42s.
Okay. We got 30 seconds. We got 30 seconds left on this first clip that we're gonna try to get uploaded in the next couple days. Go ahead and send me out what you got to send us out with, man. And then I have everybody hanging, waiting on that next video to drop. So what you got to send us out with? You got 10 seconds.
Yes, sir. 10 seconds. Yo, man, I say, welcome to the pond. This is where we at. This is what we doing, man. I'm just putting this out there for everyone who was interested about life and what life was like being in prison and what it's like on the street.